financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is how Chapter 13 saves your home while Chapter 7 does not. Brian Small, Chapter 7, Chapter 13, Chapter 20 guru of the day. How are you?
Good morning, Ken. I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. Jeffrey Linden.
Good morning, Ken.
Joe Frizard. Back with us again from Samasco Law.
Glad to be here.
Okay, guys. All right, so let's start. First of all, Brian, just give me a quick rundown, Chapter 7. What does it do?
So there's two types of consumer bankruptcy. Chapter 7, which is debt elimination bankruptcy. The general premise is you wipe out your debt, you get a fresh start. Therefore, you get to move on beyond the debt. You can do it once every 8 years, and it's the least expensive, most effective method to get out of debt if you qualify.
Sure, are you suggesting I should plan to do it once every 8 years? I'm trying to understand what you mean by that.
There are certain people that do plan on filing every 8 years. There are certain people that have to file every 8 years. But
it's just that so you have to wait 8 years before you can file again.
You can't file on Tuesday of last week and then file again next week. You have to wait 8 years.
You'd have to amass a lot of debt between Friday of one week and Tuesday of the next week before you need to file.
True,
again.
but the general premise about the 8 years is not that we want people to repeat filing Chapter 7, but the reality is Americans tend to want to better themselves, and so we're entrepreneurial, and sometimes we form businesses.
Risks, right.
We take risks, and risks don't always come through. So if you amass debt trying to open up a business or something, life event happens, it's not like we can go through life and bad stuff doesn't happen. You get rid of your debt and move on.
But Chapter 7 won't save your house from foreclosure.
Chapter 7 stops a foreclosure, but it doesn't reorganize your debt. So if you want to stop the foreclosure and keep your home, Chapter 13 is an available option.
So Chapter 7, you can stop the foreclosure, but you can't keep your home. I don't quite follow the distinction.
Chapter 7 stops the foreclosure, but it doesn't
temporarily.
Temporarily, but there's no mechanism in place with it to restructure.
So you wouldn't
the
use
debt.
Chapter 7 if you were facing foreclosure?
Only time you'd ever use it is if you're trying to buy yourself more time in the house if you know you're walking away.
Short period of time.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Chapter 13.
Tell me about Chapter 13.
That is structured reorganization over time. You have a period of 3 to 5 years to reorganize, restructure your debt, force your creditors to accept what you can afford, not ask, force.
Isn't there also an issue with Chapter 7 if you have too much equity in your home or too many assets, you wouldn't qualify for a Chapter 7?
Again, remember what I said. I said if you qualify for Chapter 7. So if you have too much stuff, too much equity, if you make too much money to qualify for Chapter 7.
What if I have $500,000 in my 401k?
Believe it or not, in the world of Chapter 7, that doesn't impact you. You
That's
can have
still
$500,000 in your 401k. It's a protected asset and doesn't count against you.
But if I just have it in a what's called a non-qualified fidelity account, that wouldn't work?
No, it would not.
Okay, so the government allows you this benefit of protecting your retirement.
Correct. It's very important that you not be on the government's dime down the road to the government.
All right, let me ask you, this could be a whole topic, but I'm going to ask you anyway. As you know, the Supreme Court struck down the Biden plan for student loan forgiveness.
Correct.
Do you see a solution to student loan indebtedness in the world of bankruptcy?
Well, there's beginning to be a good solid solution right now. The first part of student loans is they're generally not dischargeable in bankruptcy. and haven't been dischargeable ever since the doctors all filed bankruptcy.
You used to tell me a cat story. If you had a cat, you couldn't spend the money to feed it in bankruptcy.
Pretty much, that's correct. That was basically called the Brunner test. And that's still the test when you go to court and you're trying to sue for non-dischargeability, to discharge your student loans. But right now, the Department of Justice, under the Biden administration, I underscore that because we don't know what the next
could change.
administration is going to do, is allowing for the discharge of student loans for a group of individuals. Generally, you have to be below the median income. You have to prove a whole bunch of factors, but at the end of the day, there's movement towards discharging student loans.
So some student loans can be discharged now.
Yes, both in Chapter 7
do you see
and
a
Chapter 13.
long-term solution here? I see a solution.
Oh.
My solution is change Chapter 13, make student loans dischargeable, but make them only dischargeable. If you're going to discharge the student loan, you have to do it over a repayment plan of, say, 7 or 8 years rather than 5 years, so that it's a little bit punitive, but you still then can discharge the loan based upon the inability to pay.
You're not the first person to suggest that as a theory, and on paper it
Is it
sounds
getting
good.
anywhere?
It doesn't. It's not getting anywhere right now. This movement within Department of Justice has more traction. And
well, should I call my good friend Mark Rubio or Ted Cruz, who are so conscientious about the plight of people suffering from student loans, and ask them to help?
I would believe that if you are calling your extreme,
Wait. I said that
Let's
wrong.
go no.
I said that wrong. I'm sure those people are good friends of somebody.
Yeah.
Somewhere, like maybe their brother or sisters or their parents or children. Anyway, so let's talk about Jenny and Rick.
Jenny and Rick.
Jenny and Rick are in their mid-40s. They have combined income of $130,000 a year.
Not bad.
Good things as we come up to the break. They have a home in Farmington Hills, fair market value $375,000. They've got some equity, mortgage is $320,000. They have an IRA of $180,000, and they have cash in the bank of $7,500. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to tell you about some of the bad things. We'll be back after the break.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Pat was recommended by a friend who insisted that we really needed a trust. And he said, I know somebody who will do a good job for you.
At Samasco Law, we deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
We had excellent service from Samasco Law. Any questions we had were addressed. Our estate is in order, and it had been set up so well that nothing needed to be done. I would just highly recommend Samasco Law.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
Back to Jenny and Rick. All right, now let's talk about some of the problems. They're behind on their mortgage for 6 months. The payment is $2,600 a month, so they're $15,600 behind.
And beyond that, foreclosure is imminent at this point because lenders can't start foreclosure until you're 4 months behind. However,
6 months.
They're getting letters. They've already gotten a
They're
notice
gonna
that
get
the
foreclosed.
sale is coming up real fast.
And they have $120,000 of credit card debt, which is now running at 32% interest.
And that's real. That's a very real possible
Problem
default
for
interest rate.
zillions of people right now.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Jerry the bartender. They were at the bar. Jerry says, cash out the IRA, pay off the debt, pay off the credit cards, pay off your mortgage arrearage, save your credit score, you avoid the stigma of bankruptcy. That's your solution. I got a mortgage guy, friend of mine, he'll take care of you, you'll qualify for the mortgage, no bankruptcy, you'll be fine. What do you think?
I want to know why Jerry hasn't retired yet.
Yeah.
Jerry,
I want to know why nobody's retired, Jerry.
Jerry seems to be around for a really long time doing this kind of bartending.
First
advice
of all,
thing.
in the profession of bartending, it's kind of a cover your bills as you go type of a thing. Jerry has not stashed away. Jerry has not followed the 3-point retirement plan. Own your home free and clear, have zero debt, and have cash savings in the bank. The reason for Jerry is he's refinanced his house, as you'll see, 7 times. So he's living in a $350,000 home with a $348,000 mortgage because he keeps refinancing it. So he keeps working to pay that mortgage and he can't retire. Not only can he not retire, we do not want him to retire because Jerry is my favorite character on the Law and Reality show.
Okay.
Have we covered Jerry now?
I think we're satisfied.
Okay. All right. Now, this is Jerry's position, Brian. Do you agree?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
There's never steal from your retirement to address these debts or debts of any nature.
If there's another solution.
If there's another solution, right?
Because let's put it on the board and just look at it, just right off the bat. Right now, their balance sheet has them with a net worth, Jenny and Rick, of $122,500. They've got their cash, the IRA, the mortgage, the value of the house, and the credit card debt. They're worth $122,500. Immediately after Jerry's solution, they have the $7,500 cash in the bank. Their IRA goes down to $10,500 because they have to pay the taxes of taking the distribution on the IRA. That's what they have left after paying off the $120 on the credit cards and catching up on the mortgage. Their mortgage is a little bit less because they paid off that arrearage, but their net worth is $88,600. So immediately As soon as they implement Jerry's plan, their net worth is down $34,000. But as I'm sure Brian is going to say, that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is what? They've given away their...
They gave away their retirement. They gave away the equity in their home. They gave away their
They didn't give away the
well,
equity.
excuse me.
They gave away their retirement.
They gave away their retirement. They've also put themselves in a position where they're never going to recoup that money.
Jerry gives away the equity in his home because he doesn't have the IRA, so he keeps rolling over his mortgage to refinance his debt, and that's where Jerry's giving away the equity in his home. But for Jenny and Rick, they've given away their retirement. Now, how is Chapter 13 a better solution? What do we do?
Well,
and how does it affect your credit score, and what about the stigma of bankruptcy?
Okay, let me answer the last question first. There is no stigma of bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a financial tool.
You don't think Donald Trump is embarrassed about the multiple bankruptcies he filed in the years before becoming president of the United States?
Donald Trump is embarrassed about anything, and that's a different discussion for a different day. No one should be embarrassed about having to file bankruptcy. It's a tool. It is a method to fix a problem. You're worried about what the public thinks? Who cares what the public thinks?
And nobody knows.
This is true. There's no billboard on I-75 that says, hey, I file bankruptcy. It's just not there. Your credit score is going to take a hit, okay? But here's the reality for Jenny and Rick. They owe so much money that they don't have any borrowing power anyway. So it doesn't matter if they have an 800 credit score. It's useless to them.
Now,
if their credit score drops, but they eliminate all of their debt, their score is going to heal. It will get better, and quickly on top of that. So borrowing power will exist. People say, oh my God, I'm going to go into a Chapter 13. Well, what does that do for you? First of all, it restructures the debt. It forces the creditors to accept what you can afford. In this case, they have about $260 a month available to pay into a Chapter 13, maybe $300 or so. That allows them to catch up on the house. But it also has a bonus.
What's the rule on catching up on the house? They're $15,600
We're going to
behind
take
the house.
that amount of money that they're behind, and we're going to divide it out by 3 to 5 years. So over 60 months,
$260 a month.
it's $260 a month. And what's really cool is because of the way that they own their assets, their IRA, which is protected, the equity that they in their home is protected. What happens is they don't have to pay their credit card companies back a single nickel, not a dime, not a penny, no pfennigs, kopecks, or drachma. The credit cards.
Wait, no what?
Pfennigs, kopecks, or drachma.
Is this another show that I've never seen?
No, but I'm going to tell you this. You know what the credit cards get? Nothing. We'll be back after the break.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
I was married for 57 years before my husband died.
Samasco Law had established a trust for them before this happened.
There's so much to do in the beginning, but after about a month, you're kind of alone.
We deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
If you continue to have good support and know that your finances and your estate is in order, that's one thing that's so comforting. I would just highly recommend Samasco Law.
Time for announcements. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. Just call 888-235-HELP or go online and sign up. debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business issues, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff. Sign up at lawandreality.com or call 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-4357. Also, go online to our website to get our free reports. Resolving tax problems, the real solutions. Bankruptcy, is it right for me? How to save your home from foreclosure. Business formations, loans, and grants for small businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And the Retiree's Guide to Social Security. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
We're back. So, whatever those things you were talking about, Brian, those were types of currency.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So, back to Jenny and Rick.
Cookies in the cookie jar.
There you go. And they get none, is what you're saying.
Right, which is beautiful because at the end of this,
we're going to get to the end. Okay, but let's start at the beginning right now. Okay, let's look at Jenny and Rick's budget. Before the Chapter 13 and during the 13, their income net after taxes is $8,300 a month. They got their mortgage payment. They're catching up on their house at $260 a month. Notice before the Chapter 13, their monthly payment for credit cards was $33.50 a month. That goes to zero. Their other expenses, utility, cable, car payments, car insurance, gas, maintenance, food, that all stays the same. The difference, however, is before the Chapter 13, their expenses were $11,200, putting them in a negative deficit of $2,900 a month.
And people say, how is that possible? How is it possible that they could have a negative $2,900 budget and be paying for everything?
Well,
and
no.
here's the answer. That's how they went from zero credit card debt to $120,000 in credit card debt.
It's magic. But once you get to the point where the credit card companies turn you off, then you're strangled. Then you can't. Then you're forced to do something. The truth of the matter is you should do something before the credit card. When the credit card companies turn you off, want to know the truth? They're doing you a favor because they force you into getting rid of the debt. As long as they keep the faucet open and keep giving you more credit, too many people take advantage of that, and then the debt just grows. And all that does is delay the process of getting rid of the debt, getting rid of the debt sooner starts you saving money for the future sooner.
Yep.
So, but in this case, to get rid of the credit card debt, they're in that Chapter 13, they're going to be positive $190 a month, which will cover the cost of the Chapter 13,
Absolutely.
right? Okay. So now, let's look at where they're going to be in 5 years. During the Chapter 13, right now, right when the Chapter 13 starts, because we've eliminated the credit card debt, their net worth goes up to $242,500. In 5 years, their IRA is going to grow. I gave it a 5% interest rate to $228,000. The mortgage is going to go down to $280,000. I didn't put any appreciation for the house. Their net worth in 5 years at the end of the bankruptcy is going to be $331,000. That's a good situation for the future for their lives. But what about Jerry? What about Jerry's advice?
Jerry's still slinging drinks.
Jerry, go back to what we said before. Right now, if they go and they cash out the IRA, their net worth is $88,600. If we then let go forward 5 years under Jerry's plan, their IRA will go from $10,500 to $13,460. The mortgage will be the same at $280,000. The house will be the same at $375,000. Their net worth will be $115,000. So Jerry's plan 5 years ahead is $206,000 of net worth in the dumpster. This is what's important that people need to realize and don't when they're sitting there listening. It's not just Jerry. It's all those commercials that you hear. You're eligible for a loan to cash out your equity to pay off your credit card debt. This is a special offer only for veterans. There are so many commercials. You ever think about it? 50% of all commercials are selling garbage. That's the reality. You watch your news shows, and then that are supposed to be giving you the news and helping you understand the world as it is. Watch their commercials. The commercials, because they're paying and then they need those money, they're selling garbage.
There's no argument. But here,
now, a
coming to the
refinance
end,
could be right for some circumstances, but it's not right when it's getting rid of your equity in your home.
At this point, with Jenny and Rick, the reality is they're the same. There are lots of couples out there, lots of families out there have put themselves in this position. And Chapter 13 helps you save your home, restructures your debt, eliminates all of the bad credit card debt, hospital bills, possibly could eliminate your student loans. At the end of the day, using Chapter 13 bankruptcy as a tool to help you enhances your net worth, helps you prepare for retirement, and gets you out of debt.
It is a smart play in every respect. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.